How we doing, people? Hope you're well. Welcome back to Lead Judges TV. Happy Halloween. Luckily, Arsenal didn't put in a Halloween performance yesterday. It was an absolute treat as opposed to a trick. Judges, welcome. How you feeling?
Well, I'm not happy, Dan. I've been buzzing the last few days. And then I see your mum giving me a little dig on there. Look, is Lee out trick or treating? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then, of course, she started it off now, isn't she? Now, no, Donna. He's out there stealing the kids' sweets. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what's going on here? Like, you know, bang out of order. You know what I mean? Have a word with your mum, will you, Dan, please?
I know, what's she? She's getting very, very confident, mate. She must be in a good mood because Arsenal have won. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what it is.
It's getting us all going all over the place, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? So.
She's starting it now, man. She started it off. The chat's going to be lit now. You know that.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you for that. Like, you know what I mean? So.
Excellent, man. Listen, it's good to be both smiling again. Top of the league, back to winning ways. 5-0, comfortable victory. I will say this, though, judges. Like, when I saw the team news, it wasn't a massive surprise, to be honest. And when I looked at the situation going into this game, going 1-0 up early is something that we've got used to over the last few games, or first few games, should I say, of this season. But even at 1-0, do you know when you want that second goal to come and you just have the nerves a little bit come in at half time? We sat there and said, you know what, like we need to get another one because we saw it at Southampton. I don't think I'll be lying if I said I wasn't comfortable picking up 3 points though, Lee. What did you make of it?
Yeah, no, listen, I'm going to be really honest. I think, and I think there's a lot of Arsenal fans that I went into that game a little bit nervous, thinking, wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw. You know what I mean? I heard a few people saying that, like, you know, and I was look at them all coming in at me now, like, you know what I mean? It's your mum, like, you know what I mean?
I tell you,
like,
she's done it. She's done you a good one, mate.
Like, you know, so so I was a little bit nervous going into the game, but I'm going to be really honest, Dan. That I think everything what we needed happened in that game. I've got to say it was a perfect Sunday afternoon because we went 1-0 up, played quite well in the first half. Then going in at half time, I was, you know, I think, you know, even in the bars for the first time in the bars, like, you know, this could be dodgy. You know what I mean? Like you know, they're going to get one go chance. It's going to be 1-1. There was a little bit of nerves in that. Second half just come and blew them away, and it just ended the myth of bad performances in the second half. You know, I just think that it was a fantastic performance, and also what it done was, you know, like losing Saka after 28 minutes or whatever it was. You're thinking, right, oh, that's a big blow. On comes Rhys Nelson and has a fantastic performance. And it was just a really, really good performance from everybody. I thought the only thing that was missing in that game was a Jesus goal. You know what I mean? But I know he didn't score, Dan.
I think he was trying too hardly. Like,
yeah, I think maybe he was. But his all-round general play, there was a couple of times he could have gone himself. He didn't, you know what I mean? And do you know what? Like, Harry Kane would have shot and turned, a greedy little sod, you know what I mean? Like, but he's a team player, like, do you know what I mean? So, and, you know, he set up Rhys Nelson. He set up, I think he set up both of Nelson's goals, if I'll be honest.
I think he got 3 assists. Yeah.
Yeah, he played really, really well. And then I'm glad your mum's off now through a bath now. Thank you, Donna. Like, I mean, like, you know, so yeah, and then I'm going to say he had doubts about Odegaard. I know we was talking about it the other day. I felt he needed to have a performance, Dan. You know what I mean? Like,
he had one, mate. He had one. I thought it was quality.
And I'll tell you what, I was sitting next to a couple of his friends that had come over to watch him, like, you know what I mean? And they was really honest about it. I said, oh, what do you think? And they turned around and said, he's got to add goals to his game. And he knows that. You know what I mean? Like, and
they're very negative then. They're bloody toxic fans. Get rid of them, I say. Get out of the club, you know? That's what they said to us when we mentioned it. Even his mates are saying it. There you go.
He knows it himself that he has to add goals to his game. And, you know, it's fantastic when he scores and all that. But he's just got to be doing the right things. And he was, you know what I mean? And afterwards, we sat in there having a chat, and I said, you know, that's the sort of performance that he's got to do week in, week out, you know. And I just thought it was a really, really good performance. They're not as bad as what their league position is, by the way. You know what I mean? They've got to beat Liverpool. They've dug out a draw against Brighton 0-0, which is not an easy place to go and defend.
Beat West Ham, beat Liverpool.
Yeah, but we turned on the heat on that second half, and we was brilliant. Like, and I think, is it Jay saying in the chat there? Yeah, Saliba gets all the praise, and I thought Saliba was fantastic yesterday. He really was. You know what I mean? Like the
He
way
weren't the best one. He weren't the
he
best
wasn't the
one.
best one. No,
Ben
he
White
wasn't.
for me.
Ben
Ben
White was
White.
absolutely
So good, wasn't
outstanding
he?
yesterday.
So good, mate.
Good in his defending. And it's going under the radar now how good he's actually playing. Dan, really, you know, I thought he was
I
brilliant.
agree.
Yeah,
I think he's better. He's having a better season there at right back than he was at centre back last season, and that is a massive,
he slotted in at centre
massive
half in the
compliment.
last sort of 20 minutes and done a good job there. You know,
He was flawless, mate. He's so good, mate. So good. I thought.
The only downside was Cedric come on when he plays, in front of Cedric now. So Teddy's dropped down to fourth now, like, you know what I mean? So,
we'll come into that, mate. We'll come into that.
But no, he didn't. You know what I mean? It was.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It was to give players a go and everything there. But I just think, one last point I want to make. I don't know how you feel about it. I honestly think the decision to bring on Rhys Nelson was a masterstroke from Arteta. You know,
yep.
I've criticised him but I'm one of these people that will praise when I praise as well. I felt when I looking at it, turn around, mate, who are you going to? We play that game. Everybody plays that game. Who's coming off now? Like, and 9 times out of 10, I'll get it right. I go, oh yeah, Martinelli be coming off now. So and so coming on now. We all play that game. I don't care what anybody says. Like, with your mates sitting there, like, what substitution is going to be? And when Saka was coming off, my mate turned around to me and said, "Who do you think?" And I said, "I'll probably be Eddie going onto the right or coming onto the wing, or Marquinhos was going to be like Marquinhos." Was going to be like mentioned and all that. Like, not really many people thought it would be Nelson, but when he brought him on, I thought, oh, that's an interesting one, to say the least. Whether I didn't think it was right, didn't think it was wrong, but I thought it was a masterclass because it would give him the confidence to say, look, I could bring on Eddie on here and put Jesus out there or do whatever, or I could bring in Marquinhos or whatever. But I'm going with you. I thought it was a very, very good. All right, Dave. I just got my
Marquinhos.
Marquinhos. I just got my tongue twisted in there for a minute, like. But so yeah, and I thought it was a very, very bold move. He was sensational when he came on. I've got to say that. I thought he was really, really looked good. The more the game went on, the better he got, the pace. And I thought it was a very, very good thing that he said. He deserves it. He's been training hard and everything there. So I just thought it was just all round, Dan, a really, really satisfying performance.
It felt as if the Arsenal of the first 5 games were back for me. There weren't much in the parts of the game that I was negative about. I was never really worried. I think a few people were saying to me, Southampton, we were like this. We didn't kill a game off. Could have been 2 or 3. End up drawing the game. And I think it's natural to feel like that, Lee, to be honest, after PSV, 100%. After Southampton, and even Leeds, to be fair, that we got 3 points that people were saying we were lucky about. But I felt we were controlled and composed throughout all of that game. I do think that's probably at the moment our best 11, other than maybe a couple of people that you could switch in and around if you wanted to change stuff up. But for me, I think we're pretty much nailed on to see that first 11 now moving forward. I want to start with Jesus because I'm going to say it now. I don't actually care that he's not scoring. And I never thought I'd say that. I
said the same.
When it's 6 games, I think it's been now. The last time he scored was a North London derby, someone said, right? Normally, I'd be like, what's he doing then? What's actually doing? Hey, he's doing so much more than score goals. When you look at a player and you think, what does he bring to the side? Not much. We'll get him off then. What's he doing? Oh, he's scoring, but ain't doing much else. What this guy's doing is not scoring, but he's doing everything else. Like, he is literally involved in everything that's good about the club at the moment, and it's going through him. And it's looking like we're going to score. He's creating his link-up plays, hold-up plays, work rate. The tenacity this guy shows is just a never-say-die attitude. And I loved his interview the other day in the Europa League where he said, these 2 players alongside me are like machines. And I think personally that was a bit of a backhanded compliment to himself because for me, they've upped their game since we've signed Jesus. Martinelli looks incredible. I mean, I've always loved him. Like I know you have. He looks incredible, mate. And Saka, the other side, I know he come off and we'll come on to that. These two lads are machines, but Jesus is too. And I think when you look at what Jesus is doing creativity-wise, assist-wise, the fact that every time the ball goes through, it looks like he's going to create something. The goals will come. I've got no doubt in my mind this guy will score goals. I don't sit there like I did with Lacazette going, what's he going to bring then? He's holding the ball up, but that's it. Or he's working hard, but that's it. Jesus holds the ball up and works hard and links up and assists and creates. I think this guy is going to score goals, Lee. I just think he needs a bit of time. And the last thing I'll say about Nelson, I was like you. When Saka got a kick, I thought to myself, get him off. Now, I think it was a bit silly to leave him on that long, personally, and I hope he ain't out for too long now. Apparently, he's got a knock and he will be all right for Chelsea, is what we're hearing. I don't know if that means he's going to play 90 minutes, but I imagine he'll be in and around the team for Chelsea. But when he brought on Nelson, I saw Vieira warm up. I saw Marquinhos warm up. And I thought to myself, it's going to be one of them. It's going to be one of them too. Vieira played out wide on the Thursday night. Marquinhos came in and has done all right in the Europa League games early on in the year. And then he brought on Nelson. Now, listen, when he came on, I don't know any Arsenal fan that went, oh, that's a good move. I'm happy with that. Nobody did. And at half time, our good friend Andy was going to me, what the hell is he doing? And I said, well, the only thing I can think, mate, is he must be doing something in training that says you're better than Vieira and Marquinhos right now. And he's come on and he's done it. He's proven why I should have brought him on. I didn't think it was just the goals, Lee. I actually thought he looked really good. I thought he looked better around players around him that were better. I think the quality around him was better. And when you look at what Rhys Nelson has done now, in 63 minutes that he's played, apparently, or whatever the hell it's been since he's kicked a ball this season in Arsenal, he scored more goals than Jadon Sancho, Kulusevski and Richarlison. So when I look at it, he's come on and fair play to the lad. I wasn't really a fan, Lee, I ain't going to lie. I've never hated the guy. I've never really thought he was shocking or terrible. But over the last few performances, I just don't think he's really cut it. But when he's come on and he's surrounded by Jesus and Martinelli and Erdegaard and Partey, all of a sudden you start to see a little bit of a different player. And this goes back to my point, Lee, that we need to strengthen. Because when we've got players like that, it's superb for Nelson. But when Nelson's surrounded by Lokonga and Eddie and Holding and Cedric, he ain't the same player. So that for me was a really good bit of business for, good decision. And it was a risk because if it didn't work, he would have got slated for it, Arteta. So it did work. He come on and I thought he was great. And to be fair, completely changed the game in the second half for Rhys Nelson, Lee.
Yeah, and echo exactly everything you say there. Like, listen, you spent 35 million or 30, 40, how much it is on Vieira, you'd be looking, well, let's get him on, like, I thought that was who was going to be coming on, but he didn't go down that route. As I said, it was a gamble, but it was a gamble that paid off, and that's why, you have to give credit where credit's due. And I thought it was a really good move for him. Listen, there's always been a good player in Rhys Nelson. Let's be honest. When he first come onto the scene, he looked really like good and all that. Like, for whatever reason, it's not worked. But as you said there, he's come on with everybody playing alongside him, and he knew he had to perform yesterday because I think realistically he knew there's no excuses for him if he doesn't perform in that game. There, probably like that would be the end of it for him, like, because people would turn around and say, "Well, you're up there with the likes of Jesus and Martinelli, and you're playing against one of the lesser teams of the Premier League. This is where you got to make your move." And he done exactly what he had to do, and I thought he was fantastic. And Jesus, just going back to him, not only was it his right, the goalkeeper made a good save from him. And then the one which right at the end there, it just went over his foot, was just unlucky. But he defended 3 bits of defending in that game that really mattered. When he chased back and won the ball. I have to say, if you've got a lazy attitude and he can't, he'll show you up. Then he'll show you up. Because of the way he is, and he's just an infectious sort of a player. And he's unlucky when he cut inside, and another day it's that target, it's a goal. But I'm with you on this, like, I mean, if it obviously we want him scoring goals. Let's be honest. I actually said,
absolutely we do, but I don't think it's all about that.
No, it ain't. You know what I mean? I just wanted to, since do you know I always used to do me nut? Do you remember, like, going like with the the goal difference. Oh, we're -3 or we're -4. Oh, we're
Yeah,
up to like level. We're on +19 now.
there's only City, I think,
+19.
better, isn't there?
Yeah, Man City are on 26. And the next best is Newcastle on 14. And then Spurs on 10. Now, when people go to me, I'll have a look at the goal difference and all that. Like, what is the 4 biggest goal differences in the league, right? Yeah. Manchester City, Arsenal, Spurs, and Newcastle. Where are they all in the league?
Yeah, exactly.
They're in the top 4. So it is important, like, you know what I mean? But what it does show is that we've got 19 goals. I'm working it out. 7 goals behind Manchester City, and they've got a goal machine getting all of their goals. We're spreading it around. So at this moment in time, what if Jesus goes on a run now, Dan, and starts banging in 4 or 5 goals? It's like, we are in a very, very good position. We're actually playing really, really well without him hitting the heights of goals yet at this moment in time. But what I look at that is, and when people go on it, like, we will miss Jesus, not for his goals, but we're missing for other parts of his game if he was out of the team, you know. So look, long may it continue with him. I think he's like, I have to say, I couldn't believe how good he was yesterday, and I think that you've got to, and this is a serious thing now for me, because I watched him on TV last week and I watched him this week. When you actually watch him live, you appreciate what he does, the work, because you see it. You know, I mean, when it's on telly, you're seeing a square and you're just seeing like whatever. But I watched him yesterday run 40 yards to the right back area to just knock it out for a throw. Now, people don't really want to see whatever that is, but that stops a break. It stops up a play. We then win the ball back and we're on the front foot again. I just thought he was absolutely amazing yesterday. I thought it was a fantastic performance. And just not from him. I thought it was fantastic from the manager. I thought it was fantastic from defensive point of view. Ben White and you know, I thought all the defence played well. If I'll be honest, you know, really commanding. Partey, by the way, was some of his passing was unreal in that game. Like, I didn't really notice that until you get home and watch it on TV. But he makes it look easy. Dan, he makes football look easy. Quality performance, and I just got to say, the first goal, Martinelli's goal, my God, I haven't seen a goal like that, like someone diving in with an header and all that. When's the last time you see like someone really desperately wanting, you know? And that Pratt, that Tottenham Pratt, genius, trying to look at the defenders and trying to blame the defenders on Match of the Day yesterday, like, you know what I mean? Give that man credit, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was absolutely fantastic run. Fantastic desire and a fantastic header, but you go and pick on the defence, you Spurs Pratt. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
I even took a West Ham striker to stick up for us. That's how bad it's got on Match of the Day.
Just turn around and give him, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and that is
brilliant pundit. They call it a brilliant pundit, Janice. It's I don't know, man. Not for me. Listen, I'm with you there. Like, you've touched on most of the players. To be fair, I think I'm with you, particularly on something you said though. 2 players yesterday. Partey and Ødegaard for me.
Yeah.
I looked at Ben White, thought he was absolutely flawless, right? I looked at Jesus, superb. Thought Martinelli's header, outstanding, right? But when I look at it, right, when Ødegaard and Partey are in that midfield with Xhaka, I think we've got I'm getting a bit of an echo for some reason, but I, for me, have absolutely no doubt that midfield is going to be comfortable. And with Thomas Partey, he's gone from Johnny Wilkinson at Twickenham to David Beckham in one season, because he's hit 2 absolute screamers now. And I keep looking at that goal, and for me, it's better than the Tottenham one. And, you know, I preferred the Tottenham one because it was against Tottenham. But for me, this one, I'm sorry, mate, that is up there with goal of the month. Might even be contender for one of the hits of the season so far. Absolutely sensational for me. Inch perfect, fantastic strike. And this is why, Lee, I want Martin Ødegaard to shoot, because I know that he can put the ball in the back of the net. How many times have we seen him in those positions trying to flick it through or trying to pass it, trying to be unselfish, trying to score the perfect goal? Just bloody hit it, mate, because you can hit it. And that's what I saw yesterday. I was so impressed with his play. And I'm glad that his mates have said, yeah, he thinks he should score more goals. Because whenever what we say as fans, we're harsh on the lad. I actually really like Martin Ødegaard. Technically gifted. People think I'm harsh on him. I've got agendas against him. Dan hates Ødegaard. No, I don't. I absolutely really like him. But I want to see him score more goals. And this season, he's doing it, mate. And I need to see a little bit of consistency now because I see Ødegaard with a good game. Then about 2 or 3, he's getting subbed, not great. Then he's good again. Stay at that level, yeah, because I need to see that. And when we were getting 8 to 10 goals with the Fabregases, the Rizikis, the Cazolas, the Ramses, this is what I wanted. And this is all I ask for Martin Ødegaard. So for me, mate, I've been really impressed with them too. And every time they're in our midfield, I'm confident that we're going to have a good game because that midfield three of Xhaka, Ødegaard and Partey is the best it's been under Mikel Arteta, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's probably the best in the league at the moment. I really do. As a three, probably like you got De Bruyne and Rodri and whoever else slots in at Man City, but these guys are when they're on the top of their form, they're brilliant. I'm going to say this now, Dan. You know what I mean? Like when they do goal of the month for match of the day, I don't know if they still do that, but I think they do. We're going to have a few of them on there because that Martinelli one's definitely on there. Ødegaard's one definitely on there, but Partey's was the best of the bunch. Like you know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, the other goal was really good, and all Nelson's one when they're all back here and then the little flick. That was a lovely little goal as well, like well orchestrated goal. Some really really good goals there. But I'm with you there. You know what I mean? Like Partey does it from deep with those little passes there, and Ødegaard does it well. Now Ødegaard, people saying that criticising him and all that. Like he laid on a very good chance for Jesus last week, but he needs to do more than just lay on an assist. He needs to add goals to his game, and if he's not scoring, get the game by the scruff of the neck and be dangerous. That's what he was yesterday. He got into positions yesterday, Dan, that were dangerous. Put himself in there, and he keeps the ball. He keeps it alive. He keeps it going. He's a very very good player. I feel a little bit. What's the word? Criticism comes because somebody said to me yesterday he's all left foot. You know when people say never say to someone, "Oh, he's all right foot," do they? Do you notice that? Like, do you know what I mean? They're all like, he's all left foot. It just seems because he's left footed, he gets a little bit more of a digger, if you know what I mean. Like, no one ever said to me, "Oh, he's all right foot." Lee Judges, you know what I mean? Like, but because I suppose it's the norm. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So he gets a little bit of stick for that, but I thought it was wonderful to watch. Do you know what? I'll say it again. I've said it before in the past as well. I've been bored watching Arsenal games. I've been like, oh God, what? Never looked like we're going to score. We're going to do this. It's so entertaining now. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a pleasure to watch.
And do you know what, Lee? The other thing, right? When it was 1-0 and it was getting towards half time, I can't tell you the amount of times over the last 10 years at the Emirates, the atmosphere has been flat, dead as a pancake. No one really that excited by the game. And the atmosphere was great in there still. There's a love and a feel about the place. And, I don't care whether you're for or against anything that's happening around the club at the moment. Let's just speak facts. This regime has definitely lifted and improved the place around us. I don't care what anyone says in terms of the connect with the fans, the players, the manager, whoever it be. We're seeing good things around the Emirates at the moment. And I'm looking forward to going and watch the Arsenal at the moment. Sometimes people used to love the away day. I love the away days. Love the away days. Away days are great. Don't get me wrong, but actually the home days are really good at the moment. Like really
fantastic. Fantastic. Do you know what? I don't know about you, but I thought that was the flattest Emirates been this season.
Do you know what though? The reason you're right. It was, but it was nowhere near as flat as what it would have been a few seasons ago.
Oh no! It was still a good atmosphere,
and that's my point.
It was a little bit flatter because, and I think because there was a little bit of nervousness in the fans for the first time because of what had happened and all that, like And going back to PSV, I was talking to Cecil afterwards and we was going back. And he said, "I thought you'd have had the ump about this today. You know what I mean? That was a poor performance." And I said to him, "Nah, I expected that. I weren't worried about that. I expected that sort of performance. And I look at Martinelli on Thursday and look at him on Sunday. There was it was a different.
Yeah,
It was like his brother was playing Thursday. You know what I mean? Like because his attitude was different. There was a different mentality on Sunday. I never really looked at that. I think come Thursday, I think we're blow them away on Thursday. I just feel that you know, and I'll tell you what I liked about the game, Dan. I think maybe he'd do this on for, which was a good thing. As soon as we was winning the game, off come the big boys yesterday. Like do you know what I mean? Like Shaka. When was the
really
last
clever,
time Shaka? Yeah,
really
like very
clever.
clever.
That
Like
was really
I
good.
like
That was.
that. Like, and I think that's what they do on I don't think they go full strong on the uh on Thursday, but I think that they go fairly strong. And what they do is like like Shaka will probably play, but and if we are winning comfortably with 20 minutes to go, off will come other players as well. Like so I think that was a perfect performance on Sunday, on the back of what we've seen of like the Southampton one and also PSV. But do you imagine if we'd have got the 3 points at Southampton now? Bloody hell, like you know what I mean?
Always
Like
do that though, don't we? We always look back and do that every
yeah, you
season.
can always look
Imagine
back,
this,
but
imagine that. But you know what, mate? We didn't lose the game, and I know we lost at PSV and we've lost to United. But if you would have said that to me at the start of the season, I would have taken it, mate. Top of the league, 12 games in, it's looking really good, man. And at the moment, we're going to come to this in a minute about what title challenge looks like, what we are in, what we aren't in, to wrap up the show. But one thing I do want to mention is what everyone's talking about at the moment: our left back cover and our left back competition and our left back strength in depth, I suppose, is what you'd call it. Kieran Tierney, of course, is the one that everyone's talking about at the moment. And I've made it clear my thoughts on the player. I know you're not a huge lover like I am, but I think he's a really good player. Kieran Tierney, I really like him. I think he's a great professional. I think he's a really good player. For the first time, and this was noticed by a few, I was a little bit worried about him yesterday. I'll tell you why. I've seen Kieran Tierney warm up many a time. I've seen Kieran Tierney in and around the team, and I've seen him really happy. I've seen him really happy around the place. Yesterday, he weren't happy, Lee. And I'll tell you why he weren't happy. He was warming up right by me because I sit down the North Bank, don't I? And he was right up towards us, and it was just like, run back. And I thought, it's not like him. Normally, he's well up for the crowd. And he come back again. People started shouting his name. Run back. That to me looks like someone who ain't very happy. And that does worry me. I can't lie. That does worry me. And I'm going to be honest with you now. Sometimes I'm a little bit biased when it comes to Kieran Tierney because I think you all are with your favourite player. I was like it with Martinelli. Wanted to see him play. He weren't playing. I was getting the and I'm getting a little bit like that with Kieran Tierney. Now I'm seeing him playing in the Europa League games and I'm not seeing him doing much wrong. And maybe Mikel Arteta wants to nurture him. Maybe he realises that a big injury is going to cost this lad if he gets another knock. And maybe Arteta loves him and he sees him as his first choice left back. But if I'm Kieran Tierney and I've been told it's tactical against Liverpool, and 5 weeks later, 4 games later, I'm not in the side still, I'm starting to wonder whether it is tactical. Now, a lot of people are saying the reason it's tactical is not because of Liverpool, it's because Tomiyasu and Zinchenko invert as a left back, and Tierney doesn't invert as a left back. So that's why it's tactical. He's basically saying it's tactical, mate, and you can't do it. So you're my backup now. But these two lads can do it, and that's why I'm bringing them in. So I wanted to get your opinions on it. Am I losing my head, being a crybaby, as I've been called, all because Kieran Tierney's not playing? Grow up, people. I actually like all 3 players. I like Zinchenko, but he can't stay fit. I like Kieran Tierney. I like Tomiyasu. I like Kieran Tierney because I believe personally he can defend, he can be disciplined, which is what Tomiyasu is good at. He's good on the ball and he can go forward, which Zinchenko is good at. If you want a player who's good on the ball and can go forward, go play Zinchenko. If you want someone who don't cross the halfway line, is disciplined and is the best aerially, play Tomiyasu. If you want someone who can do it all defensively, good in the air, good tackler, will defend, play for the shirt, go forward, play Kieran Tierney. And at the moment, I'm a bit confused about what's going on there, man. So what's your thoughts, Lee?
Well, my thoughts are this. I don't think there's nothing to worry about at this moment in time because I think he's being nursed back from injury. And I'll tell you why, he's had a knee operation. Um, I'm going through it. I'm going through the rehab myself at the moment. It's a tricky one, your knee. You know what I mean? You got to get confidence in it and everything like that. Build up fitness and everything like that. One game a week at the minute is enough for Kieran Tierney. I don't buy into any of this rubbish about whether he plays well in this position or that position. Shinchenko, by the way, has got as good as record as Tierney at the moment as far as injury. What's going on with him at the moment?
4 weeks ago, he's in training, I was told. Where is he?
We don't hear nothing, which is a big worry. I don't think we're going to see Shinchenko this side of the World Cup, if I'll be honest. I don't think that's going to happen. I think with Kieran Tierney, I think he's being nurtured along. And I will say this, this is not having a dig at Tommy as well, because we all love Tommy Asu. He's fantastic, whether it's be at right back or left back. Played really, really well. Arsenal's best away performance this season come at Brentford. We totally dominated the game. Who played left back that day? Kieran Tierney. So I don't buy into all of that sort of stuff. I think at the end of the day, I think that they're looking at it and Arteta's going with Shinchenko being out of the side at the moment, I don't want to risk him playing him twice a week. We play once a week. Because what could happen, Dan, is that he could play twice a week. And it could all go pear-shaped and we could be without him for a little while. So I do think at this moment in time, he's being nursed along to the World Cup, more training over the World Cup, rest and training. And I think that you'll see a different Kieran Tierney
after the World Cup.
After the World Cup. And don't forget, when you play the World Cup, you still got you'll be playing on 4 fronts. So there'll be more games for him to play and all that, At this moment in time, I think he can be playing 1 game a week, and also, it can be nursed. Now, at the end of it, the decision's been made that probably be Tommy playing in the Premier League and him playing in the Europa League, and the Europa League is not so demanding as the Premier League for him. So I really do think that it comes down to that at the moment in time. People say that he's not playing well. All that, listen, we go through a knee operation and everything like that. It's a tough one. You know what I mean? So I just think.
Listen, I think you're right. I think it must be that, because I don't think any of them are playing bad enough to be dropped at the moment.
No, and I don't. Kieran Tierney, has been poor lately. Derek has just said, you know what I mean? Well, when was he poor? PSV? Probably PSV. Yeah, let's go PSV away. He was poor, along with the other 10 players. No one come out of that game with any credit. The game before against Southampton, he didn't play. Actually, when he did come in that game, we looked like we might get something from the game. The game before that was in Bodo. It was PSV at home. We played well in that game. So I just think that there's nobody playing bad in that position. I think that when he comes in, as I said, I think he's doing okay. I see where you're coming from, because we have a laugh about it, because we know that you like him and all that, and actually I did turn around and said, look, Cedric's come on in face of him now. Dan will be leaving the ground now, you know what I mean? So we was having a laugh about it. We had these sort of things with Martinelli as well. Do you remember going? And I think that's what we've got to listen and learn on.
I think we've got to realise that. That is a really good point, because me and you were losing our heads on it that long ago, when he weren't playing Martinelli, and we wanted it, and it has worked out right. I mean, look, he's playing every game.
So I just think, trust him on this, I mean, I do believe that
because it's working. Listen, it's not working. That's not what the point is. It's not that it's not working. The point is, where does this leave Kieran Tierney's future? And that would be worrying. If he was, he's probably not. He might be absolutely fine. I just saw him and I thought, you don't look your normal self. Maybe he's just pissed off. He wants to play. I don't know. I've no idea. But
of course he's frustrated. He'd be frustrated, Dan. Of course he does. Yeah. He'd be frustrated that he's not playing. Frustrated that he was injured. You know what I mean? Also, don't forget. You know what I mean? When you're and I'm at it now. I'm at this stage now. I've had a little bit of a setback with my knee as well. You know what I mean? It's not as not as strong as I hoped it to be at this stage. I was hoping to try and have a game of football this weekend, but like it's not quite strong enough. When you're going through it, you're thinking, oh, all right, say like I'm back in, like say, I'll just use me as a fit. I'll be back playing by the beginning of November, right? So you look forward to that, like, and then that don't come, and then you get so you're back into the side, and you're on the bench all the time. You know what I mean? You're frustrated because you've missed so much football
That is what it
in the
is.
first place.
That is what it is. I think, it's different when you like players, Lee, as well.
Of
It's
course it
different when you
is.
want
You
to
know what I
see
mean? Like,
players. You know what I mean?
we
I
like
was the
that. We was
same.
like that with Martinelli. You know what I mean? I'm doing my
I
nut
was
with
like,
it.
doing me nut. Why aren't we seeing him? Why aren't we seeing him? The difference was the players that were playing ahead of Martinelli weren't cutting it. Whereas with Tommy Asu, he is cutting it. And I really like Tommy Asu, by the way. He's one of my favourite
Yeah.
players. It's weird. It's weird. It feels like I'm slating him, but I'm really not. I think he's a fantastic talent. And I really like Zinchenko. So it's a good thing. And that's what I want to move to. This is actually what we need in most of our positions. At fullback, we know at the moment we've got Tommy Asu, we've got Ben White, we've got Tierney, we've got Zinchenko, we've got Tommy Asu, who can play both, we've got Tierney, who can play three at the back. We've got Gabriel, we've got Saliba, we've got Ben White. This is really good. We need that now in the other positions in January, and that's what we now need to move to and look at. But I want to just quickly, Lee, talk on where you see us going before this World Cup. Let's not worry about January yet. Let's not worry about the World Cup yet. We've still got games to play, right? And it's important on Thursday that we win that game because we win the group.
Yeah.
It's important that we continue our form, winning ways at Stamford Bridge, which are a team at the moment, Chelsea, that are really inconsistent. And then, of course, we've got Brighton in the League Cup and Wolves away. What's your thoughts going into those games now?
Right. The first and foremost, let's get the Thursday's one out of the way. We should win that game. If we don't win that game, it ain't the end of the world. We ain't out of the competition. We might have to play a team that's come down from the Champions League and play an extra couple of games. So at the end of the day, it's not a disaster, whatever happens. Like, you know what I mean? So we'll just go there, just try and play our game, and whatever will be, will be. I'm not going to lose over that sort of thing. I think we'll win, but if we don't win, it ain't the end of it. It's not like we're knocked out of the competition. I then look at the Chelsea game. I think, if I'm right, let me just. I know that Man City have got Fulham. I think they've got Fulham and Bournemouth, or Fulham and Brentford. I think. Let's just have a quick look at that. They've got Fulham at home, and they've got. I know they've got 2 home games. Brentford at home. That's their 2 games before the World Cup, right? It's guaranteed 6 points. So if we don't win either at Wolves or Chelsea, we will not go into the World Cup top of the league. All right. So if we win both games, we go top of the league, which would be fancy. If we can get, so for what I'm trying to say there, if we go in the World Cup top of the league, we've done absolutely fantastic, because that means we've won at Chelsea and we've won at Wolves. If we can get 2 wins in those games there, that would be, well, we're living in dreamland. Because if you'd have said at the beginning of the season, right, we'd be top at the World Cup, and also, Dan, if we can win these 2 games, we've actually, no, that's right. We've gone actually unbeaten in the league in October. We played Spurs, Liverpool. We didn't play Man City, but we've gone away to Leeds, away to Southampton, not for us, and we've been unbeaten in all those games. You can't argue with that. You know what I mean? It's a great return. If we can just get through the line of these 2 games, I'm going to be honest. I fancy us against Chelsea now. After what I see on Sunday, I fancy us. I'm not saying that we're going to go there and definitely win, but I'm going there confident and that we can get something from it. Like,
I don't know why we wouldn't. I don't know why we wouldn't. Last couple of seasons, we've been good there.
Chelsea, by the way, I think we're 10 points in front of Chelsea now. We could go 13 points in front of them before the World Cup then. You know what I mean? That would be incredible. And they've got to go to Newcastle the next week. You know what I mean? Like, so we're in a really, really, really good position. If we can win our next 2 games, I think then, you know what I mean, we're in a really good position for the top 4, because of what I'm seeing in the top 4 at the moment is a little bit inconsistencies between all those teams. By the way, Manchester United were fortunate yesterday to get away with a draw at West Ham at the end, like, you know. So at the end of it, we're in a very, very good thing at this moment in time. I honestly think if we can get to those 2 games, we then got West Ham and Brighton in the league after that, and then the January transfer window opens. If we can get, no one knows what it's going to be. It's going to be like a new season at its start. But if we can start with a home win against West Ham and carry on the momentum, my word, we can be a really good side. Like, you know what I mean? Like, listen, Chelsea's not going to be easy. We know it's not going to be easy. They're going to, Aubameyang's going to be up for this game. I can tell you that now. Like, you know what I mean? Without a shadow of a doubt. But ultimately, Chelsea have good players, and on their day, they can perform. I've watched them against Man United. I felt Man United should have won the game. The only game that I've seen I've been really impressed with them was when they played Spurs, and they didn't win that game then. So if we go there with a little bit about us, why can't we go there and beat them?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good super chat from Joel. Big up, lads. Your best 5 players of the Emirates era. Ooh,
Fabregas,
I like
Van
that.
Persie, Sanchez, Alexis Sanchez. There's 3.
I'm going to go. I've got my 5. My 5 are easy. Alexis Sanchez, Santi Cazorla,
Yeah, I was going to say
Cesc
Cazorla.
Fabregas, Robin Van Persie, and Aubameyang. They're my 5. Everyone go, Aubameyang. Oh, you can't pick Aubameyang now.
No, he was outstanding for us.
Hang on. He was unreal for us, mate. So, yeah, they're my 5, I think. Big fan of Thomas Rosicky. He'd be right up there. Love Rosicky, but it's just his injuries. But, yeah.
I think I might even stick Aaron Ramsey in there.
Yeah, I liked Ramsey. One season, though, wasn't it? But he was just, yeah. Bit like Rosicky, really. If he would actually stay fit.
Another one with
Quite a
injuries,
few like that, though, wouldn't there, to be honest?
Jack Wilshere would have been another one.
Yeah, we had a few, didn't we? We all got injured.
Shamak. No, he wasn't up there.
Yeah, I think it's got to be. I'm not putting Ozil in there. Sorry, I can't put Ozil in there.
No, I'm not going to go there.
Not ahead of the others.
Santi, Sanchez, and Robin Van Persie would definitely be. But
well, therefore, Chapman, no. I've got to go Aubameyang. I've got to go Aubameyang.
Then Aubameyang could be in there as well. Yeah, I think that I thought like there was a couple of seasons where Ramsey was unbelievable as well. But Aubameyang, would have to probably be the one, I suppose. Like,
Fair play, man. Good question. Very good question.
Very, very good question.
Very good question. Lee, I want to end on this. I'm going to say this now. The summer transfer window has actually been really important. I'm going to tell you why. If I was to say to you right now that Manchester City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Tottenham, and Man United are all in the top 5, it's because they've all had, apart from West Ham, maybe, who had a half-decent season, they haven't done that well, they've all been playing well and are all in the top 5. And that's why January is massively important for me. Because Man United actually had an all right window, because Casemiro and Antony have taken them to that next bit. Jesus, Saliba, Zinchenko, we've talked about. Tottenham, to be fair, will be disappointed with their, what's the word?
Additions.
Additions is a good word to use, because it hasn't worked out for them. The reason they're going to be fine in the top 4 is because they've got a manager who just knows how to get a terrible defensive unit over the line and win enough games to get them in the top 4. But the other teams around us have had a really good start to the season. Man City got Haaland, and they're in with us. Arsenal had a good window; they're up with us. Obviously, Newcastle over the last 2 windows have spent well, and that shows. Man United have just touched on. So that to me is why it's so important that we do something in January. Now, I'm hearing a lot of rumours that we're going to get a big load of money and we're going to go for it and we're going to go and get 4 or 5 players. I don't expect that, Lee, if I'm honest. I do, however, expect some business. So I want to know what you're expecting in January, mate.
2, 3 players. End of. I'm expecting
What positions are you going for? Though?
I think we need a midfield player, forward and a wide player. I think that we need that. I really do. I think that Partey, we need someone for Partey who can play that role and perhaps play the Xhaka role as well. Listen, Nelson may be the answer, and we can then go and look in other areas. But I do think that we need to strengthen just in those midfield and forward areas. You know what I mean? Like I do think that we need a little bit more quality in there, particularly when you're going into the hopefully like the deeper stages of Europa League as well. I think that you're going to need that little bit of class in midfield. Tillemans, by the way, he's just started to pick up form. I don't know if anybody's noticed in
Yeah,
his last few
he's been
games.
quality, mate.
He's been quality in
He's
the
looking
last couple of
very
games
good.
that I've seen.
Scored a
So I think,
banger against Wolves, absolute
yeah,
one of the
yeah.
goals of the season. And then he
So,
nearly scored a similar one against Man City at the crossbar.
yeah, and I
Unbelievable
think,
volley.
as Nathan says there, I think it's a fantastic shout. In January, Zaha and Tillemans are gettable. 6 months left of their contract. There would be the two that I would look to go into, give us something different, a bit of experience, a bit of know-how. And somebody else, I don't know who else, you know what I mean? Like someone off the radar, you know what I mean? But I think if Arsenal were to go, listen, my biggest worry about this is that if Newcastle are in the top four as they are now, they will go and spend on and improve their squad, and they've not got European football. So I think that they're going to be a real problem for everybody else. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't think people thought that they would get there, but I'm going to say at this moment, the way they're playing and the January transfer window coming up, they're a shoe-in for top four. They're a shoe-in for it, like, you know what I mean? Now, we don't want to be in a position where we in the end, we're flagging. And the reason that we'll be flagging is that we've got injuries coming up there. Don't forget, we've got Smith Rowe to come back into this side. We've got El Neni. Hopefully, El Neni will be back. Hopefully, I'd like to see him play on Thursday. But
He's in training, El Neni.
Yeah. So hopefully he will be. So I'd like to see like at least two additions. At least two additions.
I think you're right, mate. And I'm looking at the realistic options. A lot of people are talking about Milinkovic-Savic. I don't see that as a realistic option. He's going to be about £60 million plus more. That ain't going to happen in January. I think when you look at the other options, people are talking about Mitrovic or Ivan Toney, Tammy Abraham. I think they're summer moves if they happen at all, right?
Yeah.
When I look at January, I'm with you. Zaha and Tielemans, very, very gettable. Mudryk from Shakhtar Donetsk, very gettable. Jeremy Pino from Villarreal, another young winger, very gettable. And Danilo in defensive midfield, people are talking about him. 26 million from Brazil. Edu really likes him. I can see that one happening, Lee. Defensive midfield to cover for
Be
Partey.
brilliant if it does.
Those kind of things I can see happening. What I don't want to see is us get Danilo and go, right, let's get cracking. That'll do. But I want to see more than that because we need a forward. Zaha would be probably a good option for across the front three. Can play down the middle as well. And for me, is a better option than Eddie Nketiah. That's what we've got to look at, Lee. Would you rather bring Zaha on or Eddie Nketiah? Would you rather bring Danilo on or Lokonga? Would you rather bring Mudryk on or Marquinhos or Rhys Nelson? That's what we've got to look at here. It's none of this, poor Eddie or poor Lokonga. They've had their chances. It ain't cutting it. You've got to be ruthless if you want to go and win a title. And that's what we've got to do now. I ain't trying to get sneak top four here. We're in a position to go and compete.
Exactly that. If we go into if we was to go and beat Chelsea and we was to go and beat Wolves and then we was to go and beat West Ham and then we go and beat Brighton and we go into the transfer window top of the league, we are looking then to challenge. And January transfers would do that. Zaha, I see play up front on his own against Liverpool beginning of the season and terrorised them, scored a goal and all that. So he can play up front. He can play in different positions. I'm not saying that we're going to go and get him, but somebody of that ilk, someone that can do both, someone that can do both of those jobs,
Yeah.
And what I'm saying about Zaha is that he has got 6 months left of his contract now. Palace have got a decision to make whether they sell him or they let him go for nothing. That's what's going to happen now. At the end of the day, if you're Zaha and they come and give him your contract, my chat to my agent would be, look, they outpriced me for a move a couple of years ago, which they did. So no, I'm not signing. So you can either get rid of me now or I'll go for free in the summer. That's exactly what I would be saying to them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. There's a few like that as well with their contracts coming
Yeah,
up.
like like Tillemans is in the same boat. You know what I mean? You can go back in there and go, right, okay. Is that going to happen? I'm not going to sign a contract. You can either say, sell me now, or let me go in the summer for nothing. So these, when you say like, there's options there, like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, someone's saying Zara and Eddie could swap deal. Why would we swap deal? Why we don't need to swap? We don't need to swap the deal because at the end of the day, he's coming out
I
of his
think he's tongue
contract.
in cheek. I think he's tongue in cheek there. But yeah, no,
Well,
you're
no,
right. Listen, if we got Tielemans, Zaha, and Danilo, which are all gettable, by the way, 26 million they're saying for Danilo, Zaha, and Tielemans, we've spoken about having a 6-month in. If you go and offer some money, they're going to say yes because they've got nothing in the summer. So that to me, Lee, is exciting. That's a very,
Well,
very
if you've
good
got those
window.
3 players, right? Just say if you was to bring in those, I don't know too much about Danilo. I'd see. I have seen him play. I think it was in the under-20s or 21. I think they showed it. The
Yeah, he's highly
Brazilian.
rated, isn't he? But I don't know much
Well,
about
yeah,
him myself, like you. Yeah,
I've seen him play for. I think it was the under-21s or under-23s or whatever. I've seen him in a tournament. It was on Eurosport or something. I can't remember now. And he looked good. He looked powerful. He looks like someone that they're not going to come in straight away, but he's someone that's going to enhance the squad. I think that's a deal that could happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's big rumours that. So try 26 million, get it done. Zaha, you know what I mean? Like 15, 20 million done. 15, 20 million Tillemans. You're looking at around about 60, 70. That's good enough for 3 players then that could actually, for under 100 million, push Manchester City all the way for the title.
I agree.
That's the decisions you got.
We're not asking for 250 in January. We just, don't have to be that much. It just needs to be. We need to do something, Lee. If we don't do anything, I'll be very disappointed again. It'll be like, look, the ambition was there. It needs to be there to try and win a title, not sneak top 4 here now. And if we do want to go and push Man City all the way, we can't do it with this squad of players. And when you've got a bench that's got Smith Rowe, that's got Zaha, that's got Tielemans, that's got Danilo, all of a sudden, when El Neni and the others are back, Zinchenko, etc., you're starting to look at that bench and go, okay, we got 5 subs here that are all going to come on and change a game. At the moment, we're struggling with subs, aren't we? We really are. So we have to go and do it.
And the other thing is, like, I'm not saying we're in a title chase with City at the moment. If I'm a betting man, I'm putting all my money and everything. I'm going all in on Man City. Obviously, like, you know what I mean. But Man City, like, have got the Champions League. They could get embroiled in that. You know what I mean, like, and just take their eye off the ball. You know what I mean, and we could sneak in through the back door. Anything can happen. You know what I mean, like, you've got to continue to keep winning games. At the end of the day, and this is a real the worry for me is, we've had the best start we've ever had. 10 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat, and we're only 2 points in front of them. You know what I mean, like, so it's a tough arse. We know that, like, but if we was into January and we went and got those 3 players aiming for it, where would we get? I guarantee we'd be in the top 4 at the end of the season. So there's your answer, like, you know what I mean? Like, aim for the ball, and you might get the 25. I always say that.
Absolutely,
like,
mate. No, you're right, mate. You're right. And that for me is, we have found ourselves. Last season, everyone said we want Europa League. Well, we found ourselves, we should have been getting top 4. We missed out. I don't want to be going and find ourselves in a title race and missing out because we didn't go. And if we go and sign these players and we miss out, we've done all we can to try and get as close as we can to Man City, and it ain't worked out because they're a top quality side. I think everyone could accept that, right? We'd be happy with second because no one expected that.
Liverpool have done it the last 3 years, Dan.
Precisely, yeah, precisely. So that's what we got to be in. And I know that people don't want to hear it. Excuse me. I know people don't want to hear it for neutral football fans. They hate the fact we're doing it at the moment. I do shows on my channel and on other channels with other football fans. They hate it. They can't stand it, Lee. They hate Arsenal top. They want it to come crashing down. They started laughing 5 games in. We haven't played anyone. Now we've got 12 games in. They can't accept it. They hate it. Oh, it will come. Just keep telling us that it will be all right and it won't. Arsenal will fall down. Well, if we go and buy some players in January, then hopefully we can shut a few of them up, because I'm not saying we're going to go and win the league, but I'm saying we can go and compete if we get 3 or 4 more players in that team, mate. So Let's see what happens, man. I still feel we got a hell of a big task when we come back from the World Cup. We've got to go away from home at some big places and prove that we've got some cojones, so to speak. And I think that's
Yeah.
going to be very difficult. But we ain't going to
Big
do it with this
January.
squad,
You
mate.
know, we've
I'll
got
tell you that
Spurs
now.
and Man United, haven't we? Back to back.
We have. We've got Spurs, Man United. We've got Newcastle. We've got listen. We've got loads of
Yeah.
big teams.
Yeah, we've got
Every
tough
single
January.
team is very,
Bring
very
it
hard.
on.
So
Bring it on.
bring it
Looking
on, man.
forward to
This
it.
is what we want, isn't it? This is what we want.
This
A
is
title
what
race.
this
And
is what we've been crying out for
what we've been
for
crying out
years.
for, man. Let's hope it
Crying out for it.
continues because, is it sustainable? I have my doubts. It certainly isn't if we don't sign anyone. If we do sign players, let's just see what happens, man.
It's like last season, we went to Chelsea, right, and we won, right, and it was great, but it didn't mean a lot, did it? You know, what I mean, like we will, go to Chelsea this week. There's something fucking riding on it, like, you know what I mean, like, and it's brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant, you know what I mean, and it's us. It's us. It's riding on us, not them. You know what I mean? They're looking to get top four at the moment. I don't think they're going to win the title or even in the challenge for it, but we are. And that's what it's all about at this moment in time, like, you know. I'll tell you
Listen,
what,
I didn't expect a drop off, mate. I didn't expect a drop off from Chelsea. I didn't expect a drop off from Liverpool. I didn't expect all this. I had my prediction before a ball was kicked. Top four stays the same. I really believed that because I felt personally like Tuchel could have done something again at Chelsea. I thought that Conte was going to do bits at Spurs, and I thought that Klopp was definitely going to push Man City again for the title. We've seen Klopp fumble, we've seen Tuchel get sacked, and we've seen Conte struggle, and we have to jump on it, and we have done so far. Long may it continue, man. Dave, we've got some super chats from what I'm hearing, man, so please feel free to flick them up, mate, and we'll do some of those. Here we go. Lee, question, your player of the season, your player of the month for October. By the way, love from India. It's 3 a.m. Please stream a bit earlier. Can't miss you guys.
Well, we'll try. For me, player of the year so far, player of the season so far, I think Granit Xhaka is just shading it at this moment in time. Player of the month out of 3 players for me: Saka, Ben White, and Granit Xhaka. Xhaka gets it again for me.
Yeah, you ain't getting any complaints from me, man. And I'm not going to disagree. Xhaka's definitely player of the season, like 100%. And the player of the month, I'm going to have to probably give it to Granit Xhaka just ahead of Ben White for me. I think they've been the 2 most consistent players throughout the season. So I'm going to go for those 2, man. Mario says, Lee and Dan, what are our chances of winning the league? Sign players in January. That's the chance you've got. If you don't do that, I don't think we've got any chance, if I'm honest with you.
I think, I think we're the second best team in the league, if I'll be honest. I think, like, you know, if you look at, I honestly think that if we play Man City at home with our 11, I think we've got a very good chance of beating them. I think if we go up there, they'd probably beat us, you know what I mean? There's not a lot between it on the 11s, but the squads make the difference, and that's where it's going to come, and they've got a bigger and better, stronger squad than us, like, you know. But I'll tell you what, if they lose Ireland, that we was obviously out this week, they're not the same. They're not the same. They're not the same.
Big up Leicester as well, because Leicester, to be fair, played well, I thought, and they're a team that've been struggling. But it took a De Bruyne bit of magic. That De Bruyne free kick, by the way, was sensational. But that's all that won them the game. So man, long may it continue if Haaland's injured. But I think apparently he's looking like he's back for Fulham. So there we go. Pepe looks like he's starting to get his form back. I haven't been watching the French football.
He's been doing well.
At Nice?
He's been doing well. Yeah.
I still don't see a future for him at Arsenal. I think he's going to go, but I don't wish any bad on him at all. I don't wish any bad on Pepe, and good luck to him if he carries on.
No,
and the other one who I do know is playing well is this guy, Nuno Tavares. Has been ripping it up in France, so skillful.
Yes.
Maybe it's because he's not playing as a left back. He's definitely not a left back. He's a left winger, and he's been doing well there, mate. And long may it continue. Do you know what? If he does it tomorrow night, I'll be more than happy.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
It's all set up. Listen, it's all set up, and there's a good question. I was going to ask this because it is relevant, like, you know, because a couple of my mates want Spurs to go through tomorrow so that they don't get dropped into the Europa League, like, you know what I mean, and then get knocked out in the next round. Me, I don't care. I want them out of that competition because they shouldn't, you know, be giving me a load of stick about Thursday nights. It would be ironic and typical Spursy if they're in it after Christmas, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't care I take them on over two legs at any time. So I'm not fearing them whatsoever. So I want them out. And tomorrow it comes down to it could happen that it could be an ex-Arsenal boy to knock them out. We've got 3 ex-Arsenal boys in that team. Like, come on, Marseille. That's all I'm saying.
Guendouzi, Sanchez, and Tavares. Alexis Sanchez, Guendouzi, and Nuno Tavares. What do you reckon? A goal each? 3-0?
I don't know if it's 3. I don't know if it'd be 3-0, but listen,
I
one's
think they'll win.
qualified.
I think Spurs will win. I think they'll go through, but I hope they don't. I'm with you.
Well, they've got to
them
go there and win, Dan. They've got to go there and win. I think a draw might be good enough for them as well. Like, you know what I mean? But listen,
I said I wanted them to go through to start with. I'll change my mind now. I wanted them to go through because I think they ain't good enough to win. But it's a bloody competition that if you fluke it, I'll never be able to forgive myself for saying I want them to go through. So I want them out now, and we'll beat them in the Europa.
I want them out. Listen, Marseille have got to win the game, so it'd be interesting. It'd be a great game tomorrow. But if they get through, they get through. You know what I mean? But listen, it's the weakest group in the competition, and they've struggled.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, you don't do well in Europe, Conte. You don't do well in Europe. That's a fair point.
Right, and I'm with you, Don. I'm agreeing with you on this one. So hate Spurs. She's so right.
Yeah, mate, we all hate Spurs. This is the last one from Smokey. Big up, Smokey. He says, Lee, you've come a long way with Arteta. Do you know what, Lee? I was going to mention this the other day to you. Someone had sent me a clip the other day saying, have you seen this clip? AFTV Extra. Have you seen that? They do extra clips and all that. Someone's clipping. There was one of you going, get him out after Everton. We'd lost to Everton, United and Liverpool. And you're going, get him out. I want him gone. Get him out. Get him out. You've come a long way, man. It's looking good at the moment. And I've been there. Yeah. I've been with you. We both wanted him gone.
Had the conversation yesterday, and I'll say it again, and I've always said it. He's a very, very lucky manager. He should not be at Arsenal. He should have been sacked. Any other club, he would have gone. You know what I mean? That's the facts. You know what I mean? Like, I look at other teams this season. Steven Gerrard, Arteta had a worse run than him. Steven Gerrard gone. You know what I mean? Like, it's like Tuchel gone. You know what I mean? Like, big clubs and massive clubs don't mess around. But Arsenal backed him, and credit to them that they've backed him, and he's responded. And listen, I don't want him out now. Do you know why I don't want him out now? Because he's winning games of football. If he starts losing games of football, then I won't. You know what I mean? Like, now,
listen, it results business, man. Winning kills all. That's what I mean.
All them same people all wanted Arsene Wenger out and then love him and whatever. Like, you know what I mean? You said to me in 2004, like, 3/4 of the fan base wanted him out. In 10 years' time, I would have laughed at you. Football 100%. Is football. It's a ruthless business, and that is the way it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but at the moment, and I'm not got no problems in praising Mikel Arteta when he does well, and I've always done it, even through the bad times. If he's done something good, I'll praise him. But my God, that was awful to watch. That time there.
It great.
One person come up to me the other day and said probably the only reason that he kept his job because it was COVID and it was not in front of fans that run was going on. So I honestly believe if there were fans in the ground, it might not have happened, that run. Let's be truthful about that. But if that was with fans in the stadium now, I don't think he would have survived then. I really don't. But listen, hey-ho, he did, and he's doing the job now. He's doing the business.
At the moment, it's worked out well for us. Let's hope we don't come back to bite us, mate, because at the moment, it's looking bloody good, and he deserves a hell of a lot of credit. My mum's gone from being villain to hero in the chat. She started off saying it's trick-or-treating in Lee, and then she's ended up saying something you'll definitely appreciate, which is I hate Tottenham, especially Kane. I can't watch England because he takes part. There we go.
Now, a woman of my own heart, like, there we go, like, you know.
I always remember you and not celebrating, and I'm sure we'll get into that.
I hope he gets injured
again,
mate. So that I can enjoy England. You know what I mean? There you go.
hope he gets in. So I can enjoy England. I don't know if he will enjoy England with Gareth Southgate away. He's been playing the last
No,
few months.
maybe
There we
not.
go.
Like, yeah, maybe
We'll
not.
see. We'll see what team he picks, mate. Lee, always a pleasure, mate. Absolute legend. Love chatting to you about football, mate, and love to everyone in the chat. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe on this. Get us up to 33k if you can do, people. We're going to be providing a lot more content over the coming weeks leading up to the World Cup, and then we're going to see you on Lee Judges TV in the World Cup tournament as well, which I must admit, Lee, I am actually looking forward to. A lot of people saying I'm not looking forward to the World Cup. I am looking forward to it just because it is the World Cup. If it was England friendlies and all that, I wouldn't be caring, really. I do prefer Arsenal, don't get me wrong. I'd rather the season carry on. But when it's in there and it's on, I do enjoy the World Cup because the atmosphere and everything that comes with it. I know you're a bit the opposite. You don't want it to be happening and you want Arsenal to carry on. And I get that. But let's see what happens, mate. It'll be a bit of fun.
It's here now. There's nothing we can do about it. So
Exactly.
we'll enjoy it while we can, like, you know what I mean. And
100%, mate.
This hope that England do well, and you know what I mean. But I think I've got an uncle that's Welsh, so I'm going to be supporting Wales.
Is that way? Is all right, fair enough. Listen, I always support England and patriotic, but of course I prefer Arsenal. Do us a favour, guys. Come and support my channel if you can do as well at Football's 12th Man Podcast. I'm almost at 6k, so please come over and do the same thing over there as you're doing over here, and like all of the content that myself and Lee are putting out to you. Absolute love in the chat. Thanks to Dave as always, and we will see you next time, guys. Up the Arsenal. Take care and happy Halloween.